This video is sponsored by Akiflow. Hello, I'm Mimi, and today I want to show you my 5 steps to making a schedule that is productive with enough flexibility to also be creative. It feels like productivity and creativity don't really go together, but when you're a creator with deadlines or any artist wanting to make the most out of their day, then you need to find a way for them to be friends, and they definitely can be. So let's jump straight into the 5 steps that help me schedule my time as a creative that you can start doing today to get organized for the new year. Step 1. Write down all of your projects and ideas. This is an important first step before we plan anything, and there are lots of ways to do this. Personally, I like using Notion, but sometimes I write things down on paper first. The main thing is that you write down all of the projects that you want to work on, any deadlines that you have coming up, and any of those random ideas for art projects that you want to make. If you don't get all of your ideas written down somewhere, then they'll live rent-free in your head, and all of those ideas will distract you when you're trying to focus on one task. I mostly use Notion because it's easy to make lots of little to-do lists. I can have checkboxes to tick, a simplified calendar view, and it's handy to just have everything in one place as an overview. It's mostly an idea space with a little bit of organization to it. Let me know if you'd like a full Notion tour, and I can make a separate video for that and share my pages with you. So get all of your ideas written down somewhere, and then we can move on to step 2, which is break down projects into smaller tasks. Now that I have lots of lists of things that I want to do and I've organized them a little bit in Notion, I like to break down those projects into actionable tasks I need to do in order to achieve those outcomes, because I want to be able to tick something off at the end of the day. For this step, I'm currently using Akiflow, which is a time blocking software and the sponsor of today's video, and I like them because I can integrate my lists on Notion straight into Akiflow so that I can schedule them on my calendar. You can also integrate Google Calendar, your emails, Trello, and all sorts of other productivity platforms to bring all of your tasks together in one place. So the list that I'm syncing from Notion is my upcoming projects and things that I want to post, anything that I've marked as high or medium priority. These are mostly the outcomes of what I'm working on, so I'm going to put them on my calendar for the day that I want to publish them, and then break down the actual tasks that I need to do for those projects. I can drag and drop any of these tasks onto a time on the calendar, but I can also just allocate it to the whole day and it'll show up at the bottom, so I know that on that day there's something being published. Some tasks like making color palettes aren't being published exactly, they're just an outcome that I want to achieve this week, but I treat them the same. Now that I can see what's being published this week, I can break down those projects into small, actionable tasks straight from the task inbox. For example, to post an Instagram drawing on Monday, I'll need to illustrate that first. I also need to assemble the assets for a drawing snapshot that I'll post on Patreon. I can add labels and tags to these tasks depending on how organized I want to be and how easily I want to be able to sort through my tasks later. Now, if you're more organized than I am, you might be doing your tasks a week or more in advance of when they actually need to be finished, so you could also plan that way, but I quite like creating things the same week they're going out, at least for small pieces of content and art. Once we've got our to-do list written out of all the small tasks we need to do, we can move on to the next step, which is step 3, block out time according to your energy. Now, this step is really important for people who make any kind of art because we can only create great things when we have the most creative energy. It took a lot of trial and error, but I found that I personally have the most mental clarity in the morning, so that's when I like to do more difficult tasks or things that require thinking, and then I have more creative energy in the afternoon, so that's when I do most of my drawing tasks. You might be different, of course, but understanding when you usually feel most creative is really key to being productive as a creator. So with that in mind, I like to block my days into really rough time blocks that allow for a bit of structure in my day, but also lots of flexibility. I already have some time blocked out for the morning, lunch and dinner from my Google Calendar to indicate when I'll take breaks, and then I want to block my work routine, which can change week to week or month to month. It doesn't have to stay the same forever. So in the morning, I'll make a time slot for some admin and apply that to every weekday, which just gives me some time to check my emails, respond to some comments, do my accounting, any of those sorts of admin tasks. I don't usually write them down specifically, but if I do have something particular I need to do, I can add it right here in the time block, which is really handy. Then I'll block out the rest of the morning for tasks that require the most from my brain, which is usually things like writing scripts, making assets for posts, or any other bits and pieces that aren't drawing. A lot of these tasks are still creative, but they just require a different type of energy for me than drawing does. And then I block out the afternoon for illustrating, which is usually either drawing for a picture book, for Instagram, or making things for Patreon. I don't always spend 4 hours drawing in the afternoon, but I like to allow more time than I need where I can so that I can have the flexibility in my schedule. I'm not too strict about these time blocks, so if I spend an extra hour doing the morning tasks, then no problem, I'll just use an hour of the afternoon time, but having my day blocked like this gives me a bit of structure when otherwise I'd just be lost. So now that we have these nice time blocks, it's time for step 4, allocate tasks for the day or week ahead. Now that I've got all of my tasks written down, I can allocate them to a time in the week. And the thing that I really like about the time blocks I've made is that I can put tasks within those blocks, but not necessarily to a set time. That means that during illustrating time, I can click on the list and know what tasks I need to do for that day, but I haven't had to worry about allocating the perfect amount of time for them on my calendar. It also means that if I don't get to finish it one day, I can just drag it to another day without making any gaps in my calendar. This is how I maximize flexibility within a structure, and that's really important for me as a creative because, let's face it, not every day is a good creativity day, and sometimes things just need to be moved back a little bit. The final step for making a productive and flexible schedule is step 5. Allow yourself to change your schedule. It might seem counterproductive to make a schedule and then change it, but if you're doing creative tasks, then you really can't be too strict because creativity fluctuates and some days you'll really be in the zone and get lots done, and other days you'll just be low on creative energy and need a bit more time. Creative energy can be seasonal, it can be impacted by what's going on in your life right now, or it can naturally be higher or lower at certain times of day. And that's only natural, so let your schedule change throughout the year too. So now I have a nice simple plan for the week. It has some structure, but it isn't too strict. If I want to just see a to-do list for the day, I can view it without the calendar, which can be handy to simplify things too. I'll keep adding tasks to this calendar throughout the week, and any time slots that are left empty just become free time within that category for me to either illustrate just for fun, or research something new, or do an extra project from my Notion list. Let us know in the comments below how you like to schedule your time and whether you use a similar time blocking method or something totally different. And thank you to Akiflow for sponsoring this video. They have lots of useful planning features to help you organize your time, like integrations with other planning apps, a command bar you can just type tasks straight into to add them to the calendar, labels and tags, and a comprehensive calendar with lots of flexibility in how you view your tasks. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos about art, creativity, and business. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.